So tell me something. We're hearing the word fleece a lot.
Yeah.
But the Nuggets got fleeced in the Ty Lawson trade. I don't believe it. Do you believe it?
Well, you got to put it in context. Did they get fleeced? I mean, did they get proper value for a guy that averages 17 points, 9 assists a game? No, they didn't. But given the circumstances, given the fact that they had to unload him as soon as possible, given that the NBA goes on vacation from the day a summer league's over until the day training camp begins, it's a very difficult time for general managers to wheel and deal. Given that he's at the bottom of his trade value, they probably made the best deal they could make. I think what's unfortunate is that knowing they had to move him a while ago, they probably should have and could have moved him a while ago, and maybe they were being a little too picky about what they wanted in return. But like I said, given all the circumstances, I agree with you, Les. I don't think fleece is the right word.
Well, I would say this: if they waited longer, he might be in jail again.
Right.
And so, I mean, if you're waiting around, we don't know whether 2 weeks from now, when you're going, oh, we're close to a deal with the Boston Celtics. We're going to get a couple of first-round featured draft choices. And suddenly, he falls off a cliff in Malibu or escapes from his rehabilitation center. I'm painting the worst possible scenario, but I would have thought that the Nuggets 6 weeks ago, leading into the draft, weren't thinking when they didn't pull off a deal in the draft that he was going to go out and get into more trouble.
No, of course not. And his trade value pre-draft, pre-DUI number 2 was the same, right? I mean, he was
pretty much.
It was pretty much the same. And we talked about this, I think, on the program before. The market for point guards, unfortunately, is shallow. There's a lot of good point guards in the NBA, and when 17-9 historically would mean a lot more in this modern day NBA where the point guards are dominating the game. His trade value wasn't all that high to begin. They were going to take 75 cents on the dollar at best pre-DUI number 2, and I think that post-DUI number 2, like I just said, they probably did the best deal.
Well, post-hearing where he has to wear an ankle bracelet.
Yeah.
He monitored after he comes out of post going for 30 days to Malibu, post that the NBA is going to suspend him at some point. They're not going to fine him here. Post that he's going to probably have to go to jail as a result of this, unless there's something that comes out of the rehabilitation that leads a judge here and in California to both believe that he's rehabilitated. And it might be, and I said this last week, Andrew, that I don't know enough about the drunk driving laws in terms of if you count one against the other, but the fact that he was arrested in California did come up in the hearing here, so they at least are aware of that, and the fact that he continues every time he gets arrested, that he brings up the Missouri situation that happened when he was arrested for drunk driving, even though the Post has tried to find that and can't find that, but we do know that he was arrested for underage driving after being under influence in North Carolina. So there's a history here, and there's a history of a lot of other problems. There was a spousal abuse a charge brought against him that was dropped, and we would know that he's married. There are other times he has been arrested or fined for personal things that didn't really come to light that I know of because I lived in the same neighborhood with him. So there are a lot of, if you were making a trade, let's say that he was injured, that he tore an ACL last year, and you want to get rid of him, you draft Moutier. What was the market value for him if he'd been injured? Not very much, because you'd have to wait for almost a year before he came back. So Houston trying to win now. And they were interested in at least making a deal when you and I talked about, and we talked with guys from around the country who said there was no value in him. Nobody wanted him. I mean, they were going out and getting any deal, and you and I both said we'd trade him for a bag of balls. And that's basically what they got. So if you're in Houston, you're thrilled to death. If you're around the country and you're looking at it subjectively, people who aren't very smart are saying, oh, this is the worst deal in the world. It was a golden fleece. If you're smart about it and you were in Denver, we all thought in Denver it was time for him to go. Every poll indicated, every website, everybody said, it's time to get rid of him.
And that's why I felt they had very little leverage. So the fact they got what they got, I thought was pretty decent.
And a late first-round pick. I think one thing we don't talk about enough with these DUIs, especially when these guys get 3 over the course of their life or 2 in 6 months, that's just when they get caught.
True.
I mean, that means they're out there drinking and driving a lot. It's not like he went out drinking and driving twice and he just happened to get arrested.
Sure,
both
Shane
times.
Ray. Does anyone among us think that Shane Ray smoked marijuana the first time in his life on a day when he shouldn't be?
Or
No.
the only time Sammy Sosa happened to have a sand in his or cork in his
Cork in
bat
his
was
bat,
the one
yeah.
time. Okay, so it's a microcosm of a much bigger issue. And I guess my point, what I hope the Nuggets learn from this is when you start seeing these warning signs. And remember, these teams know this stuff way before we all find out about it, right? Especially way before I find out about it.
David Thompson.
So I think that in the future, when you see these warning signs early and they're not correctable early, and to Tim Connolly's credit, I know he had a sit-down conversation with Ty at the beginning of the season and had kind of a heart-to-heart, and unfortunately that maybe didn't get through. But in the future, when you see these warning signs and they're not correctable, move on.
Deal them. Harmony Foundation is Colorado's premier treatment program for drug and alcohol addiction. It's located just outside of Estes Park on a private 45-acre mountain campus. It is insurance-friendly. Ty Lawson could have been there instead of in Malibu. Visit the HarmonyFoundationInc.com.